am Nicole Shahanian. I am the CEO of the Chamber, and thank you so much for coming out on this rainy night to hear about our candidates for City Council. This forum gives you the opportunity to hear from the candidates running for the citywide election for mayor, as well as the candidates running for the District 1 and District 3 seats. All registered and qualified candidates were invited to be part of this candidates forum, and we are grateful that all of the candidates accepted and are here tonight to join us. The mission of the Whittier Area Chamber of Commerce is to promote and develop the economic, cultural, and civic welfare of Whittier. While the Chamber does not endorse any candidates, in accordance with our mission, we do provide information through events like this candidates forum so that our members and the community at large can make their own informed decisions during voting time. Our city's election will take place on Tuesday, April 9th. There's information in the back if you have questions about voting. Tonight's forum will be divided into 3 sections. We will start off the forum with all 3 registered mayoral candidates, Rolando Cano, Al Leon Savage, and Joe Vinatieri. Following the mayoral candidates portion, we will then hear from Jessica Martinez, Marianne Pacheco, and Magdalena Moe running for District 1. Lastly, following District 1, we will be hearing from the candidates for District 3, which are Kathy Warner and Monica Senna. At this time, I'd like to invite R.D. McDonald, the Chamber's Vice President of Business Information, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Nicole. Please rise, place your right hand over your heart, and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, R.D. Okay, so our moderator for this evening is Julia Emerson, Senior Public Affairs Manager for SoCalGas. She's a member of our Whittier Area Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors and is this year's chair of the Gateway Chambers Alliance. The Alliance acts as the legislative and policy study group for 12 chambers of commerce in South Los Angeles County. Julia is an experienced moderator and MC, and she's also a former president of the Cerritos and Norwalk Chambers of Commerce. Assisting her with questions and timing is our staff member, Rick Navarro, our member relations coordinator. I'd like to extend a special welcome to the presidents from both the Whittier Uptown Association, Justin Tipton, and the Uptown Whittier Improvement District Association, David Gonzalez, who are here with us today. We appreciate the collaboration between the Chamber and these 2 very important organizations in the Uptown area. Also, I'd like to say a very special thanks to Ross Guile in the back from Digical for filming and live streaming tonight's forum. The footage will be available on the Chamber's website at www.whittierchamber.com later this week. And lastly, thank you also to the staff here at the Whittier Community Theater for setting up and providing the sound. And I'd now like to ask Artie to come on back up, and he's going to share the format for this evening's forum.
Okay, the rules are, there are no rules, no, seriously. Questions for this evening's forum were crafted with contributions from members of both the Chamber and community stakeholders. This collaborative effort ensured a diverse range of perspectives from both business and community leaders alike. Seating order of the candidates was determined earlier this evening, and we will rotate speakers at the start of each question. Audience members will have the opportunity to write questions for mayoral, District 1, and District 3 candidates on index cards throughout the evening. Cards are available from the Chamber staff and volunteers or at the back of the room. Cards will be reviewed by our volunteers and selected based on appropriateness and topic. The format for the mayoral forum will be as follows. Each candidate will be given 2 minutes for an opening statement. Mayoral candidates will be asked 3 chamber-generated questions and will be given 2 minutes to answer each question. Mayoral candidates will be asked 2 audience-generated questions and will be given 1 minute to answer each question. Each mayoral candidate will be given 1 minute for closing remarks. As the candidates are speaking, a yellow card will be held up at 30 seconds remaining, and a red card will be displayed when the time is up. If you continue talking, I don't want to tell you what next card comes. We kindly ask all candidates to adhere to the time allotted and be respectful when it is someone else's turn. As a reminder to all, this is a forum where candidates have been invited to provide information to our residents and businesses. This is not a debate, and there will not be an opportunity for rebuttals. Candidates and ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending the 2024 Candidates Forum. Julia, let's begin.
Thank you, RD. Whoop, there we go. Thank you very much. Well, we're very happy to be here tonight. We're happy to have our candidates with us, and so let's go ahead and get started. We have, first, we're going to have our mayoral forum. So could I have the following candidates please join me up here? Candidates, Joe Vinatieri. Candidate L. Leon Savage. Candidate Rolando Cano. Thank you very much for our mayoral candidates who are here with us today. Each candidate will be given 2 minutes for an opening statement. Before we begin, I'm getting feedback. Before we began, we did have random drawing for order. And so what we're going to do here is we are going to have our candidates begin with Joe Vinatieri with his 2-minute opening statement. Would you please begin?
Checking on the mics, aren't we? No.
Yeah, I think that's
New sound system for the Whittier Community Theater.
But we have a very nice venue tonight, and we're delighted to have you all here. You are the kind of voters, the ones that braved the rain to come out here tonight. Without voters like you, and I'm very serious about this, without dedicated voters like you, sorry about the static, we wouldn't have a dependable republic that we have today. Each one of you and your votes are very important and, in fact, critical to what we're trying to do to have a good community as well as a good state and a good country. Thank you all for being here. Give yourselves a hand. The audience, thank you. Thank you for being here. And hopefully we have our small glitches dealt with. And so, candidate Joe Vinatieri, would you be kind enough to start with your 2-minute statement?
Sure, and good evening, everyone. It's great to be here. Thank you to the Chamber for holding this forum. And I want you to know it's an honor to be your mayor, and it's something that is very, very important to me. It's been a bit of a joy for me, as it's been a very good 2 years for us with a council that's moving together in the same direction in one accord. And your council team, well, we've accomplished much together. And as your mayor, it's my responsibility to take the pulse, bring the community together, work with all our people now and for the future. People love Whittier. It's history, it's beauty, it's care, it's concern. It's my vision, our vision, to make Whittier the best place in Southern California to raise a family. Now, perhaps, it's a little bit of a lofty goal, but nonetheless a vision that as a team together, I believe we can make it happen and are making it happen. So over the past several years, we've had a number of challenges, but we've overcome them. Whittier's doing well. Our police Fire services, they're exemplary. We continue to work closely on our homelessness issues. Our schools are moving up, and up. Our city is on very solid fiscal footing. And critical to all this is our business community. The jobs that are provided, the tax revenues that flow to our schools and to our city, and the wages and income that the various business enterprises provide for our residents. Of course, the vast, vast majority are small businesses, which are the backbone of America, and here, the backbone of Whittier. And thanks to this chamber for being part of that backbone. So once again, Chamber, thank you for providing this forum. Together, we're Team Whittier, the best place in Southern California to raise a family. Thank you.
Candidate Savage.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming out. As you know, I am candidate Savage. I've been here for over 30 years. However, my reason for running for mayor is when I came to Whittier, Whittier was literally one of the most self-sufficient towns in Southern California. We still are the only town in Southern California with tropical weather. And yes, the only town in Southern California with tropical weather. However, my reason for running for mayor is to live according to the rules of the Republic. When I left the military, I joined the military as a servant. When I left the military, I left it as an honorable servant. So this is my goal tonight, to show you that it's time for servants to be servant. You are the ones that hold the power. And that is my goal as mayor, is to put the power back into the hands of the people of this town, to go back to being self-sufficient, safety's first, so to having a stronger police department. Right now, we are below national and state standards because there's supposed to be 52 police per every 10,000 residents. We are about 330 policemen short. My goal as mayor is to make that right, is to make a safer community. Also, I do believe that the business community can work with the people of this community, because the business community makes up a small sector. The resident is what makes up the large and the whole of this community. So my job as mayor is to put the power back in your hands as the residents of Whittier.
Thank you. And now 2 minutes from candidate Rolando Cano.
So my name is Rolando Cano, also known as Whittier Cano, and I just want you guys all to know that you have 3 candidates up here who are highly qualified, because we've been running for many elections. So we've been pushing back, addressing issues like the homeless issue, addressing crime, not just in Uptown, but throughout our city, addressing the surplus, our issues with CalPERS, the businesses being broken into, the construction, the streetscape, the Greenleaf Promenade. Coincidentally, we know more about the trees than anything else, but the trees, you know, we don't want them to be cut down. But I'm back here to address the issues that you have reached out to me and stated, which is one of the biggest issues that we've kind of has slid under the radar due to COVID was the homeless issue. Before that, it was business support. We had no walkability in our commercial districts, and this involves all our city. And then the homeless issue took over, and we had an encampment created by First Aid's attempt to support and a large amount of people that took over the Greenbelt. That was caused by our city, but it was through good intention. Now we're facing issues with crime. The good thing is that everything that the public has presented at a city council meeting, all your concerns, turns out we have $98 million in surplus according to our city, so we should not have any excuse to not address the issues. The biggest issue is we need to protect the people, and we need to support the businesses that are gonna face years of construction, because the Greenleaf Promenade is one thing, but all the developments happening in Uptown is gonna close down that section for years. and then comes on the projects coming down Whittier Boulevard, then the train. So these businesses are going to struggle. We need to look into investing in them instead of replacing them by housing.
Thank you. And thank you to our three candidates. Those are the opening statements. And now we're going to go right into the questions. To our candidates, if elected, all three of you will answer this question first. Please name your top 3 priorities for your first 100 days as mayor. And we will begin with L. Leon Savage.
As many people know about me in the town, safety is first. That's in any and every endeavor. Our town is not as safe as it could be, as safe as it should be. We literally need more policemen. I was one of the people speaking out against defunding the police because it didn't really make any sense for us to build a brand new police station that cost the town millions, in the tens of millions of dollars, and then we defund our police. One of the things will be bringing back mandatory minimum sentencing. I don't know if you know this or not, but that's been taken away. This is why district attorneys and prosecutors will not prosecute, because they don't want to send someone to prison for something as small as stealing a water or petty theft. However, with mandatory minimum sentencing brought back, now we can put that 116-room new police station to work. With 480 extra additional policemen, that means we can cover each district, plus the responsibility that we have to Santa Fe Springs, which we have to cover that because they paid us over $90 million for that service. My second thing would be the children in this community are not safe. We know what's here, and by me saying they're not safe, meaning that we have too many parole pedophiles in our town. We have the 3rd largest school district in Southern California, yet our children have to have maps because there's certain houses they just cannot go by. And the predators that are actually out there trying to commit crimes are not being prosecuted. They're being turned loose.
Thank you. And third on that question, Joe Vinatieri, please. Did I do it right?
I think it's
I'm sorry. Second.
Rolando.
Rolando Cano, I'm sorry.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
The question is, please name your top 3 priorities for your first 100 days as mayor.
All right, so just so you guys know, the city operates within a 90-day system. The first month, people present a topic. If the city council accepts that, they add it to the agenda. Second month is a discussion. Third month, the city council gets to decide. It doesn't work that way, at least not here in Whittier, but it should, because that's the way it should work. You reach out to your elected officials, and you ask or you present an issue, and they should react. But my main positions here are education. I'm not going to move from that. I think we need to create a mentorship program to fill in jobs that we can't pay for, but we can train the future of Whittier, not just to qualify once they complete it, qualify for city jobs, but they can also qualify for jobs outside in other cities and bring revenue back here. The second part is, many of you have reached out and said there's an issue where our homes are being invaded. We had an elderly gentleman who got killed after assaulting someone. We've had shootings throughout our city. We've had gang activity. We have an overwhelming situation on our officers. We need to support our officers by becoming Boise compliant so that we can hold everyone accountable, so that we can enforce our laws 100%. Because we know Gascon is back, but he's a lawyer. He deals in the circuit in our judicial system, in our courts. We deal with the law. Our officers need to have their hands untied and be able to do their job by holding ourselves accountable and protecting you. The third is our businesses. There's a lot of construction coming, and they ask the businesses to come out. but they're not being told that there's going to be a lot of work ahead and they're going to be shut down for a while. I suggest that maybe we start looking at the associations in Uptown and remove them, save that money, and invest it back into the businesses when all this construction is going to go on for years. Those are my 3 points.
Thank you. And now the 3 priorities from candidate Joe Vinatieri.
So top 3 priorities, we're going to continue doing what we're already doing, only we're going to put it in higher gear. What are those? Public safety. We need to take care of our people. And I think everyone knows that that's been a priority of the mayor. It's been a priority of the council. You can't see these stats. I asked the chief today, I said, send me over the stats. We got them a couple weeks ago. See all the red there? That's increase in crime. So why is that happening? It's happening because of a district attorney who doesn't prosecute. We've had over 1,600 misdemeanor arrests since Gascon became the DA that have not been prosecuted here in Whittier. A lot of those people, guess what? They go out and they re-offend. We're the leader. We're the #1 plaintiff in the zero bail. You know, the judges of LA County basically said, no, everyone can get out. It's zero bail, magistrate review, citation release, book and release. We and 28 other cities filed a lawsuit against the judges of Los Angeles County on that. And that's still in court. And we have another issue that comes down with this, and that is a lot of the people who are committing crimes are people who are out of state prison. They've been put in the county jail. County jail doesn't have room. Guess what? You know where they're going. So we're in a difficult spot right now. So it's all about making sure we take care of our police officers. And I'm very pleased to say that, in fact, we are doing that. And we are at basically full complement, and we're always looking to bring in more officers. Secondly, I'm running out of time, but economic priorities and jobs. Do you all know that we've got the public market Rodeo 72 coming in over at the Groves? We've got the Liggett and Platt facility, which is going to be torn down. They're going to come in with 200 to 300 new good-paying jobs. Most manufacturing facilities are going out of California. They're coming here to Whittier. And I have, lastly, Whittier values, but we're not going to do that because I'm out of time.
Thank you very much. Next is a question about Measure W. Many of you will remember that Measure W was a 0.75% increase in the transactions and use tax. It was approved by Whittier voters in 2020. And now the question. What are your public safety priorities for using Measure W funds? First, we will start with Rolando Cano.
Thank you, folks. Well, you all remember, you remember Measure W, the sales tax that wasn't needed, but then ended up being needed for CalPERS. It was promised that it was going to go to our police officers, to our public services, our community, our parks, but it's going to the Greenleaf Promenade. What we need to do is we need to create not just more jobs for officers, we need to create a strategy. Santa Fe Springs uses a strategy that coincidentally we don't, and there are officers, which is designating 3 sections. You patrol with dedicated officers, 2 per vehicle on 3 cars. We have the east quadrant, we have the central, uptown quadrant, west quadrant to protect our cities, then the other 3 patrol cars where you have a single officer can maintain the outer perimeter of unincorporated. But we also have to think about the goal line. We have to create a substation because no one is protecting us from that line. Chief Aviv has presented a concern because we have no funding, we have no development, we have no money that would designate officers to that area. But we have to have a plan. This nonsense of we have more officers. So what? We have no strategy. Look up Santa Fe Springs, Whittier PD, and you see a plan, outreach program, working with the kids, working with the community. What do we have? 6 officers running back and forth, trying to catch a tail because they have no support. When you call and you're waiting online to be served, to get some information out there, you're put on hold. Why are we doing that when we have $98 million surplus? We're spending $20 million on a 2-block project that benefits a specific person It should not be happening. It should benefit the community. Every single one of you that comes out here demands justice, respect, and attention. You should get it.
Thank you. Next, Joe Vinatieri.
Julie, can you repeat?
Of course. Measure W, what are your public safety priorities for the revenue from Measure W?
So many of you here today, I recognize you voted and supported Measure W. Thank you. Measure W has been a game changer for Whittier, big time. We have been able to use Measure W monies to basically have more police officers, increase their salaries, bring them from other places that they want to be in Whittier. And what's been real good about it, we have body cameras now, as you know. So what's happened with Measure W, it's gone exactly where it's supposed to go. It's been for police, it's been for homelessness, it's been for public services. We have a crew now, for example, that is basically responsible for taking care of sidewalks. Our concrete crew. We never had that before. So Measure W has been a game changer for us, and Measure W has enabled us to put monies aside for a number of projects. Parnell Park, for example. We've had that monies from Senator Archuleta. We've got money set aside for a whole list of the senior center right next door, got paid for out of Measure W. If anyone has questions about Measure W and where that money's going, go look at the website of the City of Whittier. It lays it all out because it's all about being transparent, and we need to make sure that all of you know where your money is being spent and being spent well. So I'm also going to say we have money set aside. Parnell Park, the senior center was paid for out of that. There's some money that would go to the Green Uptown Promenade. Station 17, we're going to get a new station here in Whittier to serve the west side. Some of that money is going to go into that. We have the new park out at First Avenue, the Greenway Trail. Some of the money is going to go into that. Because of Measure W, we are able to step out and do things that other cities can't do. And we're thankful to all of you for Measure W.
Thank you. And next is candidate L. Leon Savage.
As you know, most of you probably know, I wasn't on board with Measure W because the country had already received a tax break of over 40–50%. We were paying lower taxes, and then all of a sudden, we increased the sales tax. However, I have been to the Whittier Police Academy. I've talked to the instructors over there. That money could be used to put 480 new policemen, well-trained policemen that live in this community. That's how you get checks and balances on the local level. I would also hire back all of the city workers that were let go in 2019 due to something called a budget cut, which really didn't make sense. These were the people waking up at 4:30, 3:30 in the morning to be spraying down the streets, to be fixing any potholes in the street, to be trimming the trees if they needed it. Safety is still the #1 priority. You could have a business making all kinds of money. However, if it's not safe, if it's not protected, you're going to lose more than you make. So that money that we have, in 2017, let me give you a fact. In 2017, there were 500 policemen who graduated from the Whittier Police Academy. 2017, those policemen applied for the Whittier PD. They were turned down. That didn't make any sense to me. So that will be part of my public and safety plan. One, to hire those policemen who want to protect this town, and they were actually residents of this town. Two, to hire back all the city workers that were let go in 2019 to keep the town clean, to keep the town safe, to keep the sidewalks from having cracks, to keep the street from having potholes.
Thank you. And the Chamber of Commerce, just a lot like the City of Whittier, we need to be flexible and have backup plans. And so I have another microphone. Gentlemen, I'm going to ask you to remove the the microphones that you have here. And if you don't mind, we're going to ask you to use Plan B, which is our pass-along handheld mic. And then therefore, we expect we'll have less static for you. The static should not be in the political system. It should be a smooth transition between candidates. It's on.
Got it.
Thank you, everybody, for understanding. Our next question, we're going to begin with Joe Vinatieri. Tell us, please, how would you support existing and new local businesses, and should the city offer subsidies to attract new businesses to Whittier? Candidate Joe Vinatieri, please.
Thank you. So, I'm not sure everyone understands or knows what we try to do right now to attract business. It's not as if we don't. Actually, we go out of our way to try to attract new business here. We actually have a red team, and that red team goes out and talks to businesses about what they need. And when we go to various conferences, we find the types of businesses that we think would fit well in Whittier. So we try to attract, but there's also very, very important during this economy, and that is taking care of the businesses that are here who might be going out of business. So we go out of our way to find those businesses and talk to the owners, see what we can do. Now, as far as attracting and providing subsidies, a lot of cities, what they'll do is they'll go out and they'll find different kinds of companies that do sales tax, for example, and then they'll say, well, you come here and we'll make this point of sale, and therefore the sales tax will come to our city, and then we'll give you 50% of whatever that revenue is. We've never done that in Whittier. It's questionable in terms of ethical, but it's legal, but we've never done that in Whittier, okay? What we do is we, as I said, just go out of our way to find different businesses, to bring them in, and we encourage them. And there are situations where it might be appropriate, depending upon what that business is, if there's a lot of good paying jobs, if we have the situation where there might be some sales tax revenue, that we can look at different things to do to help them. I'm a tax attorney. I do sales tax, California state sales tax, and so I'm involved in some of these things up and down the state. There's a number of things we could do, and we will do them if it's the appropriate thing to do to bring them here. So as far as subsidies, possibly, just depends on what the situation is. And just so that you all know, from a standpoint of revenue, we're actually doing quite well, even though we've lost one or two major revenue producers.
Thank you. Next is candidate Savage.
Well, like most of you know, I said it in the beginning in my opening statement, when I came to Whittier, it was one of the most self-sufficient towns in California. Now, that was because of local residents had local business. We had our own farmers, we had our own dairy farms, we had our own meat packing plants, we had our own ice cream factory. These things have been taken away from us. So if we're going to encourage business, we need to encourage those who are innovative, those who can still farm, those who still know how to make ice cream, those who know how to run a meat packing company. We need to become self-sufficient once again. That's the only true freedom that we will enjoy as a community, as a republic, is if we are self-sufficient. The incentive that I will give to businesses is buy a home in Whittier. We'll cut you a break on the escrow. Because we want the people that have businesses here to live here. Now, this is a sad shame. Over 50% of the people that have businesses here don't even live in Whittier. So that's money taken out of our community. They make the money from the people in our community, but then they go back to where they live. So that's not our community sustaining itself. That's our community hemorrhaging money. So what we need to do is encourage the local business owners, the local farmers, the local chefs, bread makers, whatever skill set you have, to open up a business here. You live here, we'll give you a tax break, we'll give you incentives on your home or what have you, but long as you live here, the money stays here. When you don't live here, the money goes outside of the community. And that's the ultimate goal, self-sufficiency.
Thank you. And next, candidate Cano.
Oh, could you repeat the question?
How will you support existing and new local businesses, and should the city offer subsidies to help attract new businesses to Whittier?
Okay, first I'm going to have to speak a little quickly because there's a lot to cover here. As many of you may or may not know, we belong to the Joint Powers Authority, and we have liability coverage through SIPA. One of the biggest impacts to any business, especially our city, is that we've been given an ultimatum. Because the city does not handle its basic responsibilities, they've informed us that we will be removed from this. The city council has already informed us that no insurance company will cover this city due to our massive amount of liability. So if we're going to talk about business, we need to address the city business. We're risking everything. SIPA gave us a directive, and our city elected officials took it upon themselves to request from the city to explain how we can go through a loophole. That's why we're getting the trees removed. That's why we're selling off lots that belong to the people, should be parks, should be community centers. That's why we're in the situation that we are, where we're limiting liability, we're limiting the ability of officers to do their job. What kind of gamble does a city take to say, we're not going to do the basics? We're not going to support business, we're going to support selling. When the city works on allowing our commercial districts to be run down, empty buildings, that seems intentional to me. Because then when the city manager, who is an expert in real estate, is able to go in, buy like the hotel behind the theater, $1 million for property. The land is worth so much more, but they're going to turn that into a parking lot. How do you replace businesses creating a $98 million surplus and replace them with housing? Makes no sense. When was the last time they offered businesses an extension to expand? Support. Talk about money that should be headed their way once this construction begins on Whittier Boulevard, throughout our city and uptown. Where is the responsibility and accountability? We are at risk of bankruptcy, and it's a gamble no one should take.
And now for our candidates, we have audience questions. You may recognize your question when I read it. The next question, and we'll begin with candidate L. Leon Savage. Our city streets are in bad condition and our police are not yet fully staffed. Why are we annexing Whittier Boulevard and the west side of Whittier over by the 605 area to the east? Okay, we begin again with candidate Savage.
Everybody gets 1 minute.
Oh, I'm sorry, thank you for reminding me. 1 minute to answer each question.
Okay, repeat the question then.
It'll be quick. Our streets are in bad condition.
Yes.
Our police aren't fully staffed. Why are we annexing more land, Whittier Boulevard and the west side of Whittier?
Not to point fingers, but that's clearly poor management. Taxation without representation, mismanagement of funds, not appropriately spending the money where it's needed to be spent. Just to be honest, no one's really going to come to our town unless we have a safe town. And no one's really going to spend in our town unless they see that we are the ones that are doing the producing. This is the beauty of Whittier. Our local community, we know how to come together in hard times, in good times even, but we know how to come together and create local businesses. Now, again, this has to do with poor management of the current administration. Not to point fingers, but that's where it lies. We need to put our money into making our town safe. Once we're safe, and then everything else falls into place.
Thank you. Next, Mr. Cano.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so, again, on the SIPA part, these are basic responsibilities, Everyone likes, one thing I gotta say is everyone here, everyone at my home, my neighbors, we all like to go for walks. Beautiful trees, anywhere you go, you can walk. until you run into certain areas that had just been ignored historically. Look at Painter, large concentration of senior assisted living. That is a liability. You going down Palm Avenue, going towards Palm Park, there's a ramp. I mean, my car launches off and I'm going like 15 miles an hour. But the bottom line is, you know what? Why haven't we taken care of these responsibilities? We all like to walk our kids. They walk to school. What do? We crowd them all into the car, drop them off because there's no sidewalks. Why is that? $98 million. Why is that? It's because we are our elected officials for decades. It's not just the current. We saw them all come out begging the city, hey, do something different, but they have not done their job. You have 3 qualified people here. They need to do their job.
Thank you. And next, Joe Vinatieri, please.
Yeah, I'm hearing a tale of two cities here. I hear a city that's really bad shape, not doing well at all, and yet I hear another city that's actually got reserves of $98 million and is at risk of bankruptcy. So there's a disconnect going on here, and I want everyone to know the facts. The facts are that on the streets, we have a 5-year street plan. Anybody driven down Colima Road and seen how nice it is? There's a whole number of streets on the 5-year plan. Palm Avenue is, this Tuesday night, we're going to go out to bid on Palm Avenue. So police not fully staffed. What did I say to you earlier? The chief of police. He says funded by budget, 128, positions hired, 129, less recruits in the academy. We're out bringing people in. Officers are coming to Whittier from other agencies. We're actually doing quite well. Now, West Whittier, oh, I'm out of time. Okay.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody, for being understanding on our quick timing. The next question, again, from the audience. How will you continue addressing homelessness besides the Navigation Center? What is going on in addition? First, candidate Roland Cano.
All right, thank you. First of all, the Navigation Center is not working. When you're paying another entity that is its own nonprofit, but it's its own business, they call the shots. We don't. We only pay for a couple of beds. And if you've noticed, there's an influx of homeless people because they're being kicked out of other areas like San Gabriel, La Mirada, so they're coming here. Why? Because we're presenting a plan that makes no sense. We have an empty police station that we can use to become Boise compliant by running it as a shelter run by the city where we can hold everyone accountable. Our city didn't even take a position to be part of the homeless count for the last couple of years. So what idea do they have on how many homeless people we have? They have no clue. We do, because you come out, throw out your trash, and they come after you. Someone's digging through your trash, someone's breaking into your backyard. What's working? 98 million, but there's a separation. There's not. It's not being used for your benefit. We need to do more.
Thank you. And now we will finish with concluding comments.
Same question?
Yeah, that'd probably be true. The question.
On homeless.
Sorry, how will you continue addressing homelessness besides the Navigation Center? Thank you. Sorry about that.
Sure. So all of you know we still have a number of homeless here on the streets of Whittier. If you look closely, they're either drug and alcohol addicted and or mentally ill. So we have a major issue that we're working with county mental health. But the problem is these people need treatment, but there's no way to treat them voluntarily. They have to want to do it themselves. We've been working with a new homeless court, and it doesn't seem to be working that well. We're hopeful that would work. So the real issue is our Navigation Center is working. We have a number of people, and they're not from outside Whittier, they're from Whittier, because when you said to go forward on it with Measure W money, we said it's got to be Whittier people. So it's actually working well, but what we have left, unfortunately, is a major problem between the county and the state, candidly, not doing their job. And I've been out with our Met team and seen it for myself. That's the problem, and we're just going to continue to work it.
Thank you. And now we're ready for closing remarks. No, I'm sorry. Now we'd like to hear from candidate Savage. Thank you. Homelessness.
Yes. One, first and foremost, because the Supreme Court deemed it unconstitutional and unfair to you, the homeowners, the property owners, to have a sanctuary city. These people are nameless faces. They are not from here. They are being dropped off here. Now, to deal with the mental or the drug issue, we have a mental institution in Norwalk, for some reason that has just been shut down. It needs to be reopened. Not to put anything harsh on it, but we need to get away from the sanctuary city thing. I know most people said, oh, it was a mandate, but it was not a mandate. It was something that certain people receive money in order to do. So, open up the Norwalk mental facility. We can talk to those people. I'm pretty sure they'd be glad to hire a few people and open it up, and then get these people back in.
Thank you.
Can you repeat the question?
I'm sorry?
Oh, I did.
You answered the homeless one. But keep the microphone, because now we're going to go to closing statements. And in the beginning, we had a certain order of candidates. And for the closing statement, we'll do the exact opposite order. We're trying to make it as fair to everyone as possible. So for closing statement, 1 minute for closing remarks, candidate Rolando Cano.
All righty. Who's tired of hearing that we have the solution for the homeless problem? Because I don't see it. I'm tired of it. We keep kicking the can. We keep placing accountability on someone else other than themselves, the state, the county. What about Whittier? Let's become Boise compliant and let's just enforce the law. We create a path to help anyone that wants help, but if they don't, we get them out. We get them back to the county. Our plan is not working. This excuse, we joined this lawsuit, we joined that lawsuit, it's not worked. I've been saying the same thing since 2017. It's 2024, and it's gotten worse. What plan? This plan is not working. $50 million on a conversation, a meeting where you get popcorn, you get pretzels and water. For what? We're not even taking part in the homeless count. We need to hold people accountable by becoming Boise compliant, enforce our laws, hold everyone accountable, give them a choice. Either take their help or get out. It doesn't matter if they have a mental health issue. We need to hold people accountable. It's time to do it, and the time is now.
Thank you. Candidate L. Leon Savage.
Well, it's clear and present. We are a republic. Therefore, it means you hold the power. In a republic, being the legal registered voters, all you have to do is petition people like us, the servants. You make the rules, not us. This is how it's supposed to be. This is how the forefathers wanted it. This is why we are the only lasting republic on the planet. It is time for you to take the power back in your hands. You know what you don't want in your community. You know what you don't need in your community. So your responsibility is, yes, the First Amendment. Apply it, use it, it works. Apply it to your servants, your public servants who are supposed to serve your will. Don't be afraid to take your power back, because this is what I'm seeing. We become too reliant on government, and our forefathers could not stand government.
Thank you. And with concluding remarks, candidate Joe Vinatieri.
So once again, I want to say thank you to the Chamber for putting this forum together tonight. And I'm actually quite excited about where we are at as a community, notwithstanding some of the things I heard tonight, and where we're going. I want to say thank you, and I'm so appreciative to our City Council team who's been working well together for the past 2 years. And I want to say thank you to our staff that has worked so well together to get us where we're at fiscally and making so much progress. See, Whittier's in a very unique position as I see it, certainly as compared to many other cities. We're well situated financially. I'm ever thankful for Measure W. We always say thank you because many cities are not able to do what we're able to do. We positioned this city to do what many other cities can't, and that's to step out for the next 2 generations in a shared visionary purpose. I ask all of us to look down the road and to share that vision. I call it Team Whittier, and come together because it's all about the kids and the families and making this the best place in Southern California to raise a family. Thank you.
Thank you. Tonight's forum, you got to hear from the 3 mayoral candidates for the city of Whittier. You got to hear from Joe Vinatieri, L. Leon Savage, Rolando Cano. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your patience, your kindness, and thank you for your public service and your willingness to help and serve others. We're very grateful to you in all cases. And I want to thank the audience once again. We're going to have a 5-minute break, and then we will begin our show with the District 1 candidates. Everyone is welcome to stay as long as you'd like. We also have information tables in the lobby as well. 5 minutes, and we'll be starting again. Thank you.